What are we talking about today? We are going to be talking about launching your business with customer focused marketing. This is not all about launching so much as it really is about making sure that you are putting yourself in the right positioning, right? So thank you, y'all. I see that information coming up. This is great. Okay, so I have created a follow along guide. There's going to be a link to that popping into the chat in a second. That follow along guide, it was created by my team at Predictable Results Marketing as a way for you to kind of get more information and to keep everything that we're talking about here kind of top of mind for yourself. It's completely free. You can download it at the link that's going into the chat now. This is our agenda. We are going to talk about essentially how to do a funnel. So if you've never heard of a funnel and you're like, what does that mean? We're going to be talking a lot about funnels today, but we're going to be talking about it from the perspective of your customer and how they experience your marketing and their journey. So the marketing for the customer journey. So let me make sure I have everything in there. Okay, yeah. So the marketing for your customer journey. So for your customer, we have to remember this. Great marketers don't make stuff, they make meaning. And as small business owners, we are the marketer. You are the marketer. I am the marketer. We are the ones who make meaning. So I'm looking at what you all are putting into the chat. And so like I'm looking at what Vicky is saying, and she is a health coach who focuses on aging, healthy aging. I love that for women over 50. That is a really awesome. And with something like that, the way that Vicky has put it out there, it's almost the meaning is kind of built into it, right? Like she is helping women over 50 to age healthy. That is like inherently has meaning. But what a lot of times we do when we are, putting together our marketing plans is that we're not thinking about that meaning first. And so a lot of what we need to be thinking about is that meaning. How are we translating our passion and our idea into meaning for the person who is going to be consuming that product or service? So if you are creating a business, or since you have created a business, you need to be thinking about how you really can focus your energy and your passion into having a great business, and it doesn't have to be painful if you do it in a smart manner. So we're going to take these three things into account the entire time we're in this workshop. We need to be thinking about creating a meaningful story, building relationships and credibility because people don't buy from people that they don't trust, and then influencing your customer on their journey. So again, remembering your customer is on their own journey, and all we can do is actually influence them along the path. If you are the kind of person who likes to take pictures of things to keep for your own records, this is a great slide to take a picture of because this is a really good visualization of the customer journey, otherwise known as the funnel. So your customer goes from awareness to consideration to purchasing to advocacy. Awareness is where they're like, I did not know you existed, and now I do know you exist. It is the part where you reach people who weren't your customer before. Consideration is where they are considering you and other solutions to their problems, and they are trying to find answers. The engagement area is answering their questions. And then the purchase is essentially, how do you take people who know you exist and you've been answering their questions and turn them into customers by having them do some sort of purchasing activity? And then after that is advocacy. Like, how do we get people who've made a purchase from us? How do we then turn those people into evangelists, essentially, so that they are out there advocating for our businesses on a regular basis? So let's go in order from top to bottom. Awareness. Awareness is where we reach out to customers in the first place. So how do you currently reach your customers? I would love to know in the chat, if you could pop into the chat the number one way you think you reach customers. What is the number one way customers find you? They find out who you are. What is that? Is it Google? Is it word of mouth? Is it advertising, which is perfectly fine? Is it trade shows? A lot of people pre-pandemic, trade shows were a majority of the way that they've had people know who they existed. Is it some other type of searching online? What is it? How do people actually like get to you and know who you are and all that good stuff. So networking, that's good. That's not even on here. Networking, that's word of mouth, but it's like word of mouth in this very specific way. So go ahead, put in the chat, how do people know who you are and that you exist? The reach aspect of this, I want to keep them coming. Networking is just one way. What are the other ways that people learn about your business? When someone is reaching out to you, the newsletters are good. That's a good way. When people are reaching out to you, first of all, we have to think about them. We need to identify who they are. And we need to think about our own business's branding. And then we need to be thinking about how to get ourselves online. So we have your customer first, always, always, always customer first. So, okay, there we go. So we have networking, word of mouth, social media. I love it. Keep them coming. We have to think about our customer first, and then we have to think about ourselves. So after we think about our customer, we think about ourselves. And then after we think about ourselves, we think about how the person is experiencing us on the internet. First things first is that customer demographic. So who are the customer market segment? Who are these people? How do they see themselves? Where are they located? And then what is their behavior? All four of these elements go into your customer segment. When a lot of times when we're talking to customers, I know with the SBDC as a consultant, I speak with people all the time. And the first thing I ask them is, who is your customer? And a lot of times they just rattle off demographics. And I'm like, no, who is your customer? Like, how do they see themselves? And this is what I think we need to really focus on. We need to think about how do they identify themselves? And then we need to create our identity based on that. Like not just trying to mimic them, but trying to help them to identify our journey and their journey. So who you see here is a company, this man here and his wife, they created a company called TW Totes, which was all about like, this guy just wanted a really awesome lunch pail. Like that was what he really wanted. He was sick of carrying paper bags or like whatever you find in Target, which is not stylish. He was like, no, I am dressed for success every day. How come my lunch bag is not dressed for success with me? And so he actually developed this entire process of making this bag in order to be a super stylish person who's getting himself out there, who's, really being proactive in this community about how he wants to appear. And so that identity that he has is now a part of the identity that the customer has as well. And so that's what I want you to be thinking about. It's not just who you are, but it's who you are and how your customer sees you. So how do we kind of combine all of that? Like that might have felt like a lot of information. So we're going to have a little bit of an exercise. The first thing that we need to be thinking about when we are trying to find that perfect balance between who we are and who our customer is potentially this brand positioning statement. This is who you serve, what you offer, what differentiates you, and then what is your promise or your mission. It looks like this. For audience who has a specific set of challenges, my company provides product service differentiation because brand promise, right? So we need to be thinking of this entire process like this. For this audience who has this challenge, my company provides this product because we care about this thing. So in the chat, I would love for you all to start giving me some of these elements. So first of all, can you tell me what is your customer's challenge? Go ahead and drop it into the chat. I want to know who it is you serve and what is their challenge, because for the most part, everyone knows the second part. Like I know I provide fill in the blank product at this price and it's different from my competitor because of this. But most people don't get the first part right. The audience and who, like who is it for and what are they caring about? So in the chat, you guys have given me a good idea of who your people are. I'll look at Vicky again as an example. So Vicky has the aging healthy coaching for women who are aging. I had all those words in the wrong order. But if we're looking at this, then is it just for women over 50? That's a good way to start. For women over 50 who have what challenge, right? So aging is difficult, but what part of aging is Vicky helping people with? What's the specific aspect or the specific challenge that they're having? Alex has put in there she is helping people to have a healthy and sustained work-life balance. Now, who is Alex helping? So, okay, healthcare moms. I love that. So for women who are in healthcare who have children. So for healthcare moms, she is offering healthy and sustainable work-life balance. So she is saying, for women who work in healthcare who happen to also have children, we understand that it is challenging to have a healthy work-life balance. And so that is what she's on. See right there? I just took what she said and put it in this right order, right? So your customer, who, and then what is the challenge that you're having? So for low employee retention, engagement. Okay, so but who is it for, Kathy? So we got our challenge. Now, who is it for? Women who have been unsuccessful with long-term weight loss and want a solution. Karen, that feels like everybody, but I understand what you're saying. I think that's great. So you guys are coming, you're bringing it. I love it. So keep it coming. We need to be thinking about the who and the challenge. Like, who is this person and what is their challenge? So people who are selling their house, building a home, or buying a house. So what is it that is their challenge? Like, what is their challenge? Not just, that's a great who, people who are selling, buying, or, building, but what is the challenge that they have that we're helping them overcome? Because the challenge is where all the good stuff is, right? So for leaders with organizations with more than 50 employees, Kathy, that's great. So for organizations with more than 50 employees who have a challenge of low employee retention and engagement, that's good. So for people who are leading organizations that have more than 50 employees and are challenged with keeping those employees, that are retaining them and engaging with them, that is it, right? My company does X. So do we see how it all comes together when you're thinking like, who is your audience? And then what is their challenge? Okay, so keep thinking through that, thinking through those things. Now for TW Totes, so I told you all about what their issue was. They are for working professionals who need a stylish and functional lunch bag. So I love this example because it is an example of a straight up first world problem, right? Like, no one is solving cancer here. Like, this is just like, I just want to look good with my lunch bag. But there are people out there who are working professionals who need a stylish and functional lunch bag. TW Totes provides fashionable, insulated, vegan leather totes because everyone deserves a luxurious and functional lunch bag that the entire family can use. So they're saying this is not an age-specific thing. Anybody in any age group can benefit from this lunch bag. So I want us all to kind of practice using this method of positioning, because all of the things that I talked about before about like making sure that you're aligned with your customer in order to reach them. If we develop a good brand positioning statement, you can put this statement on your website. This can be in your social media profiles. This can go all of those places where people ask you to give like a 280 character description of your business. And a lot of times we are just like, I sell products. Like, we start talking about ourselves. This is a great little place to practice not talking about yourself, talking about your customer first, and then talking about yourself. For all of you who are on LinkedIn, which I highly encourage you to be, this is a great place for, those people who are like, I don't know what to put in the little LinkedIn description area that they give you where you can write a narrative. This is a great place to put that. For people who don't know what to put in just that little subject bar, like when you put in your title, you have the option to put in a headline. You don't have to use your business title, like your employee title there. You could put in this headline. So think about what that looks like in all of the online context, right? If you write a really good brand positioning statement, you can pop this in just about anywhere where you're being asked to give a short description of your business and what you do. And this will be way more impactful than just like, I sell products, like I sell houses, right? So that is a way more engaging, right? So once you get that brand positioning statement, like I said, now it's a good time to actually head into the internet and figure out where people are, and then put that information about your business in those different places. Now, I am just I love the fact that directories is listed here because I think so often we forget as small businesses that people still use directories. There are lots of directories that are extremely useful to businesses. And so if you run a small business, you should be thinking about what directories you can go and put your business into. A lot of them are completely free. Or have really low like annual fees or whatever, but go ahead and think about that, not just on social media where it is, I'm not going to say it's crowded because that's a dumb term. It's just noisy. And so on social media, it can be really noisy. And as a function of that, you might put your information out on your business and no one could hear you versus in a directory, it's going to be a little bit less noisy because people are looking for something specific when they're on a directory and you might be able to stand out, right? Online marketplaces are another great option, especially if you have an e-commerce business. And I'm thinking, like the obvious places like Amazon, there are lots of online marketplaces where you can get yourself out there, where when someone is looking for your product or service, online marketplaces like Etsy, there are so many different options out there. I just don't want you to get bogged down on, oh, I have to put everything on social media. Social media is a great place, but it is not the only place for you to share your business. Now, once you get yourself out there, you may be tempted to kind of stop there and be like, I have myself on social media, I'm on directories. That is all I need. Like, I'm on Etsy. What do I need a website for? Well, first of all, having your own website is massive because you control it, you own it, and it can grow with your business. So if you are a business right now that does not have a website, you are in a position, you're unfortunately putting yourself in a position where everything that you quote unquote own doesn't belong to you. Like, your audience does not belong to you. If they're on Facebook, Facebook could at any point in time delete your page. YouTube could delete your channel. And I mean, this is a Google workshop. Google is like, get a website. Like, anything could happen. You do not want to have all of your eggs in your social media baskets, because if and when anything happens, then you will not have control. And even if you do get those assets back, I know both Beth and I have the same story about a colleague of ours who her entire network was on YouTube. She had a fantastic, very active, she's a local entrepreneur, very active, robust YouTube channel, and she lost it. Someone maliciously claimed that she was stealing copyright, like infringement, across multiple videos. It was not true, but YouTube is a take down first, ask questions later kind of platform. And so they took her channel down and she immediately lost access to her entire audience. She had not built out any other way of communicating with them. She did not have her own website. She did not have like a bunch of the other things that you would do. She only had a few channels. And so she kind of bombarded those channels with lots of information about, please don't run away. I didn't die. Like, YouTube just took my channel down, while she was working with YouTube to get her channel back. And I don't want any of us to be in that position. We should definitely have our own assets that we control so that we are not in a position to lose those things. If and when something happens, we still have access to our audiences, right? Now, of course, you do have access to your Google My Business profile, which is a free profile that Google offers that you can create essentially your own directory listing that is completely free. It allows you to be found in search and on maps. It's a really useful tool. Again, completely free. It's where people who are leaving reviews, it's where you can respond to those reviews. If you're getting Google reviews, you can post updates, you can change your information if you have different hours one week or another. It's just a really good platform for you to be on so that people can know who you are, and you will have more and more ability to essentially control your own narrative, which is what most of this is about. It's like really controlling your own narrative. So the second part of this, the reach, is the huge part. We're going to really blow through the rest of this, but the reach is so huge. You have to focus on reach because the majority of what we do as small business owners is outreach. And so if we get those outreach activities down, we have a website, we have a good elevator speech / brand positioning statement, it's going to go a long way to help people who don't know we exist find us. But after that, when they do find us, we need to start doing things that are going to help them to know what to do next. So we need to listen and learn. We need to communicate and deliver value, and we need to develop relationships. The listen and learn is massive. So you need to be hearing what your customers' pain points are. Like, what do they care about? What are their challenges? How do you address those challenges? What are they searching for online? We need to be thinking about these topics in advance, like in advance of anyone ever looking for us. We need to be thinking about what is someone searching for when they are looking for, fill in the blank business. So in the chat, I want you to tell me what you think the #1 search term is for your business. What do you think people are putting into Google? Don't put your business name in there because that is not okay. So what do you think people are putting into Google when they are looking for you, but maybe they don't know you exist? So I got treadmill repair. I like that. That's good. I hope you repair treadmills, Kevin. Treadmill repair. What else? What else are people putting into Google? What are they putting into the Google? Weight loss for older adults. Okay. Do people refer to themselves as older adults? Do they do that? Do they? Do they? No, they don't. They don't, Vicki. I don't say I'm an older adult. What does that even mean? Like, how much is my house worth? Oh, George, that's good. Vicki, I'm going to challenge you. I want you to give me something other than for older adults. I do love the weight loss. I got some things in mind. So I'm not just challenging. I'm going to offer you some opportunities and, some other things. Work-life balance. Yes, Alex, lots of people are putting in work-life balance for nurses or work-life balance for moms. Employee engagement, employee retention. Yes, Kathy, that is literally exactly. They're putting it. How do I keep people? Like, how do I stop people from leaving me? Those are all good search terms. You guys are hitting the nail pretty hard on the head. I love that. What I'm going to want you to do is to start Googling these terms, right? So what you need to do is to Google the terms that you think are good search terms. So if you think employee engagement is a good search term, Google it. And you're not just Googling it to see if you come up because, well, you should, but that's also not the point. The point is to find out what else people are searching for based on that term. So if you are Googling employee engagement, then we should, let me see, I'm going to Google employee engagement real quick. I'm doing this as if I know how to type online. I am the worst. Engagement. It came up without me having to do anything. So when you Google employee engagement, you got all of these things happening, but down here at the bottom, you have your related searches. Now, this is where it becomes really important for us as small business owners, because now we have employee engagement activities, types of employee engagement. Why is employee engagement important? Employee engagement in HR, examples, like Gallup, I'm guessing that's for like the organization Gallup has put out maybe polls about employee engagement. What are the drivers of employee engagement? And then employee engagement articles. What do all of these things give us? They give us an entire set of keyword terms that Kathy can use in different articles, in different places on her website. If she's talking about employee engagement, then maybe she should be talking about types of employee engagement or employee engagement activities, or reminding people why it's important, because these are the terms that people who care about employee engagement are also looking for. So that's why you want to take the term that you say is a term that people should be looking up and you should be getting found for. We need to take that term and we need to Google it so that we can see what else people are looking for. You can also take that term and put it into Google Trends. So you have your people also searched for, but then you also have trends.google.com. And so I'm going to type in employee engagement. Of course, I'm typing it in and my keyboard isn't working. Employee. I've been having trouble with my keyboard. Engagement. It's Bluetooth, and for some reason, it does not like that it is Bluetooth. It wants to be something else. So, employee engagement, what this is, and I'm showing you because a lot of people get confused about how to use Google Trends. Google Trends, this little line that you see here is the trends for this term over time. The 100 is not the number of searches. It is the highest point that this gets to is at this point. So like that week, that employee engagement number is at like 100% searches, like the most searches it gets ever is during this. That's what the point of this little thing is here, is to say, okay, if I'm going to be doing employee engagement content, maybe I can do employee engagement content in a time frame where it is trending, so that I can really leverage the fact that people are actively searching for this term during this specific time frame. Or you can look based on geography, like which locations is the term more active in? Are there other related terms that are like really trending that I need to hop on? So employee engagement might not be the most one up, but look at that, virtual employee engagement ideas. There we go. We got a 200% increase in that term right now, meaning that people are looking for virtual employee engagement ideas in this exact moment. So if you're Kathy, then you can take that knowledge and create content around people looking for answers for virtual employee engagement in this exact moment. Give me a +1 in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about here. If you're like, I get it, I can do this. Okay, good, thank you. Okay. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So once you find that out, then it's time for you to create shareable content, educate and inspire, help people with their research, establish your expertise and credibility. Because once you start talking about the terms that people actually care about, that's when all of the lovely resonating, oh, this person knows what they're doing, they know what they're talking about, all of that happens when you align what you're talking about to what your customer's searching for, because then they're like, well, obviously she can read minds. Kathy is got all the information. She knows exactly what everyone's looking for. Kathy, she knows because she let Google tell her. And so we're gonna be smart and let Google tell us what this information is, right? Then you can actually share that content out over many platforms. You can share it on social media. You can write email newsletters. A bunch of you noted that newsletters are how you reach out to people. You can write your email newsletters based on those trending topics. You can create YouTube videos or podcast episodes, or do your online blog, or whatever it is that you're going to create content around. You can do that using those keyword phrases, those trends that we were just talking about. And when you do that, it will help you to develop the relationships that you really need to develop in order for people to feel like, again, you are the genius, you are the one that has the answers to their questions. It helps them to evaluate you, right? So we've already met TW Totes. Now let's talk about Wicked Good Cupcakes. They have a cupcake business that they actually grew exponentially during COVID. And they grew this business because they focused on the things that we're talking about. They looked up what people wanted to know about cupcakes, y'all. This is not even, again, not something like what y'all are doing, which everything y'all talking about is like super life-changing. These people are making cupcakes in a jar, and they're like growing their business because they're focusing on the stuff that their customers care about. They learned about their customers. They identified opportunities to improve their website based on trends. So they were like, okay, this is what people care about. Let's create content around that. This is where you're going to be able to make the big differences in your business, is if you take the information we're talking about today and then use that going forward to make changes to your website or how you put your content out there, all of those things, right? So the most important part, which I think a lot of people would agree, is the purchasing part. So now that you've convinced someone, you know what, I know everything that you need to know about virtual employee engagement ideas, because I wrote a really good article on it. I posted about it on social media. I did a YouTube video about it, and you saw all of that content. And how do I then take that customer and turn them into, or that lead and turn them into a customer? First, we need to identify whatever the actions are that someone needs to take in order to be your customer. And you need to make sure that those actions are extremely easy for them to take. You need to make sure that you are sharing calls to action in a timely fashion, and that you are streamlining the purchase process so that they don't have 97 steps to go through, because anyone who has 97 steps to purchase won't buy anything. So this timely call to action thing, y'all, it is huge. Identifying those customer engagement activities, these are calls to action. These activities are things that are going to help you get people from I know you who you are to I bought something from you. This is another place to take a picture. If you are one of those people who's like, I need to take a picture. Getting email signups is a really good micro commitment from someone. Having them complete a form on your website, having them download content from you, having them do some sort of trial or demo or download an app or do a phone consultation. Anything like this is an activity that you want to be thinking about as far as getting someone to do an activity that's going to help you make money, right? We aren't just trying to get people to come to our website. We want them to come to our website and do something. We want them to come into our shop and do something, right? So we're going to offer them discounts or deals. I'm a big fan of the deal over the discount because I hate for people who like constantly just be looking for a discount code for me. Instead, I would love to offer deals or offer exclusive offers like, oh, this offer is only available for this period of time for this group of people. Invitations to events or webinars, having customer testimonials. If you have customers already, getting those testimonials out there with the addition of a call to action. Don't just put a testimonial out there, be like, this person had this great experience and you can too, click here to have this great experience, right? And then offer value added, like free shipping or additional resources or something along those lines to get people to feel like they are really getting more and more and more from you for the dollar that they're giving you in return. Now, of course, you can do all of those things organically. You can get that content out there organically. You can help people to know who you are without spending a dime. Well, relatively speaking, a lot of your time costs money. So you will always be spending some sort of money on this. But if you wanted to actually do advertising, right now, Google Ads has a set of smart campaigns that are really aimed at helping small business owners to learn how to do advertising in an effective manner. If you want to know more about advertising, you can come hang out with me in a few weeks, actually have a workshop on advertising. I'll pop into the chat the link to register for that. Again, it's completely free. And I walk you through all the different ad types and all that good stuff for Google Ads, because it's really, really important that you know how to do them if you are going to do them, because I don't want anyone out here wasting their money. No, we don't waste money here, right? Okay. So once someone has become a customer, so we have reached them, we have learned, we helped them learn who we are, then we converted them into a customer, and now they're a customer, and it is a whole job and a half to get them to become advocates. We want them to become loyal customers who are advocates for us, right? So what do we need to do in order to get someone to be an advocate? We need to do it on purpose. You need to build customer loyalty in on purpose. You need to be thinking about what are the programs or incentives that you can offer that are going to help someone continue to work with you in the future. You want to encourage advocacy. That's the hard part. It's like shameless post selling. Like after someone bought your thing, you need to be like, you love that thing, didn't you? You know what you should do? You should tell everybody about it. Here's a form, fill it out, and I'm going to share it with people. Or here's a link to the Google review space so you can write me a review. Or here's a link to Trustpilot so you can write me a review. You should be giving them an opportunity to review you on a regular basis. And when I say a regular basis, I mean as close to the transaction as possible. And the smart way, listen up, if you're multitasking, pause, listen to me here. The smart thing to do, especially if you're delivering a service, is at the high point of your service, when you know that they are loving everything that you're doing, even if you haven't finished delivering it yet. That's when you ask for a review. When you're like, when they're flying high and they're having the best time ever, you're like, you know what? I would love it if you could review this experience. And then they're going to be like, yes, I have nothing but positive things to say. You don't want to wait until after the thing is over for the most part, mostly because it's easy to forget. People are coming down off of the event high or the interaction high, and it's a lot easier for them to coast into inertia, like not doing anything. And so we want to encourage the positive like vibes, the highs, by catching them when they're at the height of their experience and asking them for their feedback. Okay. So make sure you're staying in touch. Even if you think, I know we have at least one realtor here, even if you think you have a thing that like, oh, well, they only buy from me once in their lives. So what? Stay in touch, because even if you think they only buy from you once in their life, the likelihood that they can refer other people is very high. Provide excellent customer service, ask for feedback regularly, continually improve based on that feedback, and then find any little ways that you can to surprise and delight people. The more we can surprise and delight people, the better off our outcomes will be in the future. People love a good surprise and delight moment. I mean, it has to be good, but people love a good surprise and delight moment. Okay. So who can be an advocate? Anybody. Your customers can be advocate, but so can your employees. And I know that Kathy is like, yes, they can. If you build good relationships, your employees can be advocates, your partners, your vendors, anybody who you have a relationship with in your business can be an advocate for you, including, of course, affiliates and influencers. So most people as small business owners, we hear the internet screaming at us, do influencer marketing, do affiliate marketing. Well, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe your industry doesn't really allow that, or you don't have the opportunity for it. That's fine, but you can have people who are advocates. You can have partners and vendors and other people who are willing to be out there shouting how awesome you are from the rooftops. You just have to determine who those people are and give them the opportunity to do it, right? Figure out who your good advocates could be, maybe even make a list of them, and then determine what call to action you are going to give to those advocates. You're not just going to say, oh, I have this list of people who I want to be advocates. You're going to be on purpose about this. You're going to be very intentional and give them something to do. Give them an engagement point. Okay. So I've talked to you guys about the entire funnel process. I know it was quick. It's a quick workshop. But before we move forward, I want to know in the chat what you're going to do based on what you learned. And then I'm going to give us a recap of what we talked about. So in the chat, what actions are you going to take based on the information that you got today? Go ahead. I'll wait. What are we going to do? How are we going to change? What's going to be different? Don't get shy all of a sudden. Okay, your brand positioning statement. Look into those Google search terms. That's good. That's good. Using Google Trends. It's so great, right? Doing that keyword research, just basic Googling and then looking and seeing what other terms people are using. That's good. So they're all good places to start. Okay, I like it. I like it. I feel good about that. It's not everybody, but I feel good about it. Okay, let's go through, do a recap. So like I said, you have a whole funnel here. We have awareness, which is how do customers even find out who you are? Consideration, how do they get answers to their questions? We need to be thinking about who your customer is, who your business is. How do you get your business into people's line of sight? Like, how do they even know who you are? Then from there, you need to listen and learn, figure out what they need, communicate back to them the answers that they need. So if they need virtual employee engagement ideas, you're giving them virtual employee engagement ideas. And then you're going to develop relationships from there. That's the top of the funnel. So we're reaching out and we're engaging. And then from here, we're going to do our middle and bottom of the funnel activities, where we are going to convert these people. We are going to try to get them from browsing to buying. And we're going to do this by identifying the key actions that they need to take. What are the things that someone has to do in order to become a customer? And we're going to share calls to action all the time. This is one of the places where small business owners fall down, because we don't want to just simply ask for the business. You've got to ask people, download this thing, connect here, click this link. You have to ask them to do it, because otherwise they won't. Then you're going to streamline your purchase process so that you don't have anything getting in the way of someone being able to give you money. Like, you don't want anything to be in the way of that process. You're going to think about that customer loyalty. How can you re-engage people? How can you sustain that relationship? And you're going to encourage advocacy, meaning you're going to encourage people to be like, I love this and I want to tell everyone about it. Once you get through this entire process, you have built yourself a nice, tidy little funnel where you can actually help yourself and help your business grow using these different ideas, these different steps. Now, if you want workshops like this and you're like, this is great, I want more, then Google has some workshops on Grow on Air. It is a part of the Grow with Google organization, which is where my department sits. And what we offer is online workshops all the time. They're completely free. You can register for them at any given point in time. Eric is popping a link into the chat right now. There are also Google Primer lessons. These Google Primer lessons are fantastic because what they do is that they offer you to have on your phone, you download an app, and using that app, you can actually put out, like, you can get through a whole bunch of little mini lessons on a bunch of things that are specifically for small business owners. That's what I love about Google Primer, is that it is all just for small business owners. So if you are the kind of person who is like, I love this, but I only care about like what's useful for me as a small business owner, then Google Primer is for you. And then if you want to know anything that there is to know about all of the universe of tools for students and teachers, tools for local small businesses, tools for job seekers, tools for developers, the google.grow or grow.google, both of them work. You can head over there and learn more about all of the programming that is offered by Google and the Grow with Google team. So that is it for today. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, of course, I am a consultant with the Small Business Development Center. I am not going anywhere. And you can ask, get Beth to put you on my calendar, and I can hang out and chat with you about marketing.